What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actresses sits down for what should be a typical late-night interview, only to face questions that cross every line of professionalism? Tonight, we're exploring the explosive confrontation that had everyone talking. Emma Watson, celebrated not only for her acting but also for her activism, found herself defending her choices and her dignity against a host seemingly determined to push her past her breaking point. The tension was undeniable from the moment she walked onto the stage. But no one could have predicted just how far Jimmy Kimmel would go or how powerfully Emma would respond. As the studio lights flared and the audience erupted in applause, Emma stepped onto the familiar set. She looked stunning in a navy blue blazer, her smile calm and composed. She took her seat across from Jimmy, who greeted her with his usual grinning charm. "Emma Watson, everybody," Jimmy said, clapping along with the audience. "Thank you for having me, Jimmy," she replied graciously, settling in with her signature poise. Jimmy leaned forward. "Now, you know I've got to ask, you've been pretty quiet about your personal life lately. The fans are dying to know, are you seeing anyone special?" Emma's smile tightened just a touch. "You know I prefer to keep my private life private, Jimmy. I'm here to talk about my new film project." "Oh, come on," Jimmy pushed, his tone more insistent. "You can't just leave us hanging like that." "Don't you want to know?" he said to the crowd, encouraging their cheers. Emma shifted slightly but kept her composure. "I really think my work speaks for itself here, and that's what I'd rather focus on tonight." Jimmy laughed, but there was something pointed in his tone. "You know, Emma, you've always been so serious about everything, the whole UN Women thing, the activism. Don't you ever just want to have fun? Be a normal 20-something? I think using my platform for important causes is fun, actually," she replied, the edge in her British accent unmistakable. "And I'm in my 30s now, Jimmy." Right, he waved off. "But come on, you've got to admit, some of your speeches have been pretty broken bar preachy. Don't you ever worry people tune out when celebrities start lecturing them about politics?" The audience's mood shifted. Emma sat up straighter, her mask slipping just slightly. "I don't consider advocating for gender equality to be preachy, Jimmy. I think it's necessary. But don't you think," he continued, his tone now mockingly serious, "that maybe people just want to see you in movies looking pretty? I mean, that's what made you famous, right? Looking good in Harry Potter?" Emma's eyes flashed, but her voice stayed steady. "What made me famous was my acting ability, actually. And using my platform responsibly shouldn't be criticized, it should be respected." Jimmy laughed, nervously this time. "Responsibly, sure. But be honest, don't you miss being the girl who played Hermione, before you had to have an opinion on everything?" "Having opinions isn't something I have to do, Jimmy. It's something I choose to do because I believe in making a difference." Jimmy's smile faltered. "Making a difference, yeah, that's noble and all, but come on. You're an actress. You're not a politician or a scientist. You just pretend to be other people for a living." The studio fell silent. Emma's hands were clenched in her lap. "Acting is my profession, yes," she replied. "But that doesn't mean I should stay silent about issues I care about." Jimmy scoffed. "Like what? What real-world experience do you have? You've been rich and famous since you were a kid." Emma's composure cracked. "I think we should move on to my film." "We'll get there," Jimmy said dismissively. "But people want to hear this stuff. You come on these shows with perfect answers, so don't you ever want to admit you don't really know what you're talking about?" Emma stared at him. "I do know what I'm talking about. And frankly, your questions say more about you than they do about me." "Oh, now we're getting somewhere," Jimmy smiled. "Tell me, what do my questions say about me?" "They say you're someone who thinks a woman's value is tied to how quiet and pretty she is. They say you're uncomfortable with women who have opinions." The audience held their breath. Jimmy's smile collapsed for a moment before rebounding, strained. "That's quite an accusation." "Maybe you just take yourself too seriously, and maybe you don't take women seriously enough." Jimmy's face paled. His voice rose slightly. "Oh, so now I'm the bad guy?" "I'm just asking questions." "Your job is to ask about my work, Emma shot back. "Not to belittle me or question my right to speak." He gestured to the crowd. "Apparently asking questions is now belittling." Emma turned toward him. "You're not asking questions, you're making assumptions about my intelligence, my experience, my right to care. There's a difference." Jimmy leaned back, clearly shaken. Okay. You went to a fancy school. You think you're smarter than everyone. But you're still just an actress who got lucky with a movie franchise." A gasp rippled through the room. Emma's expression turned cold. "You're right about one thing, I did get a lucky break. But everything after that? The education, the activism, the speeches, so that was work." "Oh, right. Parties and speeches someone else writes for you." Emma's voice finally rose. "You think I don't write my own speeches? That I don't research what I talk about? That I just show up and read off a teleprompter?" Jimmy threw up his hands. "No need to get defensive." Emma stood, her chair sliding back with a soft scrape. "Do you even know what the hard stuff is? It's death threats for speaking out. It's being questioned, dismissed, mocked every time I talk about something that matters. It's sitting here, keeping calm while you try to tear me down in front of millions." Jimmy, clearly sweating, tried to backpedal. "Come on, Emma, you're being dramatic." Emma laughed bitterly. "You think this is dramatic?" "Jimmy, for 10 minutes you've questioned my intelligence, mocked my activism, suggested I'm a puppet too, and you call me dramatic?" The room was dead silent. "I think we got off on the wrong foot," Jimmy said weakly. "Let's start over. Tell me about your movie." Emma stared at him. "You want to start over now? Now that everyone's seen exactly who you are?" "You didn't want to start over when I asked to talk about my work." "Emma, please," Jimmy said. "Sit back down." "What I wanted was to be treated with the same respect you show your male guests. What I wanted was a professional conversation. What I got was a reminder that dignity still has to be earned if you're a woman." "You're making a big deal out of this," Jimmy muttered. "A big deal?" Emma repeated. "You've tried to put me in every box so pretty, lucky, quiet. And you're shocked I won't climb in." "I never said that." "You didn't have to say it. It was in every question, every joke, every dismissal." "And you want to know what your questions revealed, Jimmy?" "That you're threatened by women who won't shrink themselves for your comfort." Jimmy looked stunned. Emma continued. "When was the last time you asked a male actor if he missed his first role, or told a male activist he was too preachy?" "You wouldn't, because men get to grow. Women, we're supposed to stay in our lane." Emma's voice was now powerful, unwavering. Jimmy slumped in his chair, visibly smaller. "You know what's really tragic?" she said. "That you still don't see what you did wrong." Jimmy rallied for one last jab. "From where I'm sitting, I just asked some honest questions." "You turned it into a whole feminist manifesto." Emma's expression shifted from anger to something colder. "Do you want to know what a feminist manifesto actually sounds like?" "Sure." He smirked. "A feminist manifesto is me demanding to be treated as an equal. It's refusing to be reduced to my looks, my relationship status, or my willingness to play along." "But what happened tonight wasn't a feminist manifesto, it was me defending my basic humanity." Jimmy tried to interrupt. She held up a hand. "You're so used to things being this way, you can't even see how broken it is." She looked around the studio. "Look at this room. Does anyone here think this was normal?" Jimmy looked, and for the first time, saw the disapproval, the discomfort. "I think you're overreacting," he said, too softly. Emma laughed, tired, frustrated. "You know how many times women are told that? To not make a scene, to just go along with it. We've been trained to prioritize men's egos over our own dignity." She stepped closer. "Every man who's made me feel smaller, there's always someone saying I'm overreacting. But I've learned something. The people who say that are usually the ones who don't want to face the consequences." Jimmy sat, helpless. "This isn't just about me. It's about every woman who's been told her success is luck, her opinions are annoying, and her worth is in how well she plays along." Emma's voice was clear and cutting. "And the saddest part? There are women watching this right now thinking I was the problem, that I should have laughed it off. Because that's what we're taught. Be nice, be quiet, don't upset the men." Jimmy muttered. "Emma, "I'm sorry, a broken bar." "You're not sorry for what you did," she said. "You're sorry it didn't work." She turned to the camera. "This is what it looks like when someone refuses to be small to make someone else comfortable." She removed her microphone and handed it to a stunned assistant. As she walked off the stage, she turned one last time. "Goodbye, Jimmy. I hope one day you understand that treating people with dignity isn't generosity, it's the bare minimum." And with that, she was gone. The studio remained frozen. Jimmy sat alone, speechless for the first time in his career. What had started as a routine interview became one of the most unforgettable moments in television history.